You want to ask me specific questions?
Those don't look like workout clothes.
These are the shirts of the Republic of people that don't love America as much as the other brands. They won't sponsor CrossFit because it's not worth it.
Those are Nike shorts. Well, and Matt Frazier doesn't do it anymore, so there's that.
Yeah, there's not really a champ.
You still got a key to this place?
I know the code.
Oh, okay.
They won't give me a key.
Speaking of Mason, did you watch that?
Oh, I got notes for you. I bet you it's over. Watch this.
We're about to get some coaches in trouble.
You want to bet?
Okay, I'll say it's locked. I'm gonna give them the benefit of the doubt. I was so wrong.
Wouldn't be the first time.
That's true. Valid.
There's a few things I would agree with, but there's a bunch of stuff in his video that are just bullshit. Like, lack of a better term.
What, did we even have 6 a.m. back when you were coaching?
I used to coach. So before, when you first came to the gym, I coached all the classes.
Yes,
and
I remember.
The first class was 6 a.m. and I was not a good. I was a fine coach at 6 a.m. I just was. If I showed up 10 minutes before class, it was a godsend.
Yeah. You can't say gay and retard either. It's super offensive.
My wife's telling me to be quiet. But you can do a bunch of things. If you're fat, you're fat. If you're skinny, you're skinny. And if somebody tells you and it's true, that's on you. If it hurts your feelings, that's on you too. Nobody can offend you. You can get offended by yourself. It doesn't have to be offensive for you to get offended. I could tell you that shirt looks great, and you'd be like, I hate blue. And I'd be like, okay, well, that's your opinion.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do the burpees first because I could just get warm doing that. I'll warm up for a little bit. I'll do the burpees and then I'll do the deadlifts. That would have been bad.
Wanna play tough, I wanna hate this, I'll always show up. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love.
I think it sucks that so many people make up stories about stuff they have no involvement in. You actually didn't involve yourself in any of this. You're just sitting around giving an opinion and you've never even competed at the games, and you want to talk about how a competition should be ran. It's just twisting the things that occurred, which is what people do. They just keep making up shit that's not actually what happened and making a different story about it. For today, in this cycle, I would consider the deadlifts more of a speed emphasis, and meaning that they're kind of like doing sprints. So doing them before is fine. I would do them after if it was my preference. But I think that for most people, they probably need to prioritize the deadlift. And even though it's short and fast sets, they're really not super taxing. So this makes sense to do it first because the burpee intervals are actually 2 minute on, 2 minute off intervals, and the off is really recovery. So there's some aerobic base there, but ideally those 2 minutes of burpees at lactate threshold are pretty hard, and doing those prior to doing the deadlifts, that's basically you telling me that I'm prioritizing that over the deadlifts.
Yeah.
I know the deadlift stimulus, and I'm going to be fine doing it afterwards with the weight because it's a light percentage. So I'm going to hit the intervals first because I want to get warmed up and I don't want to just deadlift cold. I think that's kind of funny how people always want to put numbers on it and just look at data and pull data when it can be pulled and twisted out of perspective. If I do 1,000 air squats, it's not the same as doing 10 1-rep max attempts. Yeah, the numbers are completely different, but you're saying, oh, we have to test squatting. We have to test squatting in every way. Do we have to test squatting heavy, light, overhead, front, back? I think that Adrian Conway talked about this before. There's other valid ways of testing squatting strength, leg strength, than just squats. There's lunges, there are carries, there are sleds, pushes, pulls, different machines. There's valid ways to test stuff without doing it the same way as before. You want it done a certain way, but you also want it to be unique. And you're saying you can do it better.
I do so instinctive and so passionate. Every word I move so descriptive like an adjective. I got a vendetta against people who patented being negative when you should be.
I really messed up.
I think,
No warm-up does that.
yeah. The first 20 felt great.
On the first round I did 39, which was like I thought steady. And then I was holding, that last recovery round I did too many, but I was holding 17 to 20 in the recovery. Last year's games was completely different because of what happened in 2024. They were going to make sure and ensure that as few people got hurt as possible and athletes didn't have a bad experience or any traumatic event, because we had one the year prior. So I do think that has to be taken into account. A 3-day game versus a 4 or 5-day event are completely different.
Yeah.
They are completely different. You ready?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a matter of fact. It's so strongly opinionated on it when you don't do that job, and everybody's always easy to go, hindsight, we should have done this. Do you want it to just be standardized? Like, hey, like the NFL Combine, you're going to run a 40, you're going to do a certain agility drill, you're going to do the L drill, you're going to do the 5-10-5 or pro shuttle drill, you're going to do position-specific drills, you're going to do a 225 max reps for everybody, you're going to do a vertical jump, a broad jump. They know their events, so they train for the events. Like, I could also see validity in CrossFit having standardized events that you know you're going to do. We have that with benchmarks. We just don't really know when we're going to see them. You don't go and get an evaluation on a business from somebody or an appraisal from somebody that doesn't do that for a living. That's not a professional, trained and experienced. So just somebody with a microphone telling everybody how it should be done isn't necessarily going to be taken seriously. It's not that it can't be, just it's not as likely. He doesn't have as much skin in the game and his experience. And I do think at times Dave's had maybe the wrong people in his ear at times, or maybe not enough people in his ear, not enough help, maybe trying to do it all on his own. I have no clue. That's me guessing. Mm-hmm. Dangerous when you start making your guesses into factual statements. I'm not, honestly, personally, I'm not a fan of conjugate. I just know it's very effective for a lot of other people. But personally, for my own personal fitness, I've never felt like a lot of gain from it. But the people I program for and the people I've done it, you always see such progress. So we still do it. But I agree with also some of those other points. Like when I went through the stuff that he was doing, one of the first things he talks about how the field and the point spread. When Matt and Rich were, at the top of their game, it wasn't super tight most of the time. There was a couple years where it was a little tight. Rich always pulled away on Sundays, what he was known for. And then Matt had it a little bit tight one year, and there was a lot of controversy around, was he making it, for certain other athletes to be able to compete and push. That's when Noah was in the lead for quite a while.
Was that the same year that they also had the cuts and there were only 10 in the end on the final?
Yes, there's 20 then 10, I believe. There's always some hindsight, and I think that year, they haven't done that since. They haven't made cuts that aggressively through those events like that. Yeah. And they've learned from it. So I think that's what we have to actually keep in mind, is that they do learn. Just sometimes it's maybe a little slower or harder than we want it to be.
Do you ever watch Kill Taylor?
Not much, honestly. I've watched more than a handful. Casey was wearing a chest strap when he called in one time, and they hammered him, man. Yeah. I felt bad for him, actually, and then the pressure got to him in the workout because he kind of fell apart when it was actually a really good workout for him. Yeah, you don't need a chest strap for every piece, but I'm not gonna lie, that's really a trend in our gym is set by me because I used to wear one constantly. Yeah. So everybody's wearing one constantly. That's like trying to compete. We're all assuming finalities of just who can deliver it the most in the best way that gets the most clicks and shares and stuff. Everything that we're looking at doing in here, so my main questions I got for you in here, we plan to remodel this whole area. Everything's gonna get stripped down to the studs. Okay. The biggest issue in here that I have is that this island, we're going to turn this into an island. Okay. So we're going to remove that pantry wall. Yeah, there's some boring finishes, but like we can't say like we want every workout to be thrilling and exciting. I agree, but I think that people are putting together so many pieces that it's really hard to be like, hey, this is the one. Mm-hmm. Overall, does it deliver or does it not? because I don't know if you can please everybody with every single workout.
That's already been done.
Right.
The price has been paid.
And with trust in Jesus, this is actually the worst that it gets. No matter what, here on earth, this is the worst it's ever going to get. Because there's something else.
Well, it'll be the worst it gets if you go to heaven. It'll get worse if you go to hell. If you think this place is bad, I believe that hell's a little bit worse.
The fact that he said that 1 or 2 more events could have changed the outcome of the games, well, duh. Like, seriously, like, are you kidding me? Of course, 1 or 2 more events every time, especially with a tight race like it was last year. Don't we enjoy tight races, though? Don't we enjoy, even the year before when Fikowski was the leader in 24 going in the final 2 events, and then Sprague ends up pulling it out. I mean, don't we enjoy that more than having the runaways? Like, if I'm a fan of somebody, I enjoy the runaways. But if I just want to observe it as a sport and, you know, spectate, then of course I want to see it come down to the end. So I don't. Every event changes the leaderboard, especially if the event is biased towards one thing or another. Here, okay, we got carpet in here. We got carpet in here and carpet in here in these closets. In the bedrooms, we're going to keep that. No change really there. There'll be some demo right here with the carpet. We're gonna move this doorway to this room to this hall, and we're gonna move this hall into pantry. So I'll come. Man, too many machines. That argument sucks to me. Machines can be a great equalizer. As a bigger guy and a bigger athlete for a long time with CrossFit, I always thought it was kind of odd there. People are always bitching and moaning about the machines being a little too biased. Well, there's every other movement we do almost that has range of motion involved is better if you have shorter arms and shorter legs. Right. Pull-ups, presses, handstand push-ups. Every time I do this, I do more work than you with the same amount of weight because I had to move it a further distance if I have long arms. So the same thing happens with the squat. So like a workout like Fran, it's beautiful, right? And it's hard and terribly exhausting when done very fast. Well, guess what? It's extremely biased, and the fastest times in the world are going to come from athletes that are under 5'9". But the funny part is that the opposite argument is, like, if you go back and look at the history of the long rowing events, they weren't won by the tallest athlete at the games because they were for such a long extent in time that some of the smaller athletes did decently well. I don't think it doesn't skew as heavily as you might think. So saying that the rowers and the bike or any of these machines is more beneficial for a bigger athlete, well, duh. Also, like, obviously, mass moves mass and can create more power. Longer levers can do that. Shorter levers can make the range of motion faster. So are we just only going to run and row? Okay, we could. But the other machines being introduced has given us different stimuluses and different things. And when utilized and paired well, I think they're beautiful, especially in great efforts. Nobody wants to watch a half marathon or a full marathon row.
Yeah.
We all are in agreement there, right?
Yeah.
People say you should replace that most people don't in a house when you move in. Aaron knows this. Guy told us the other day.
What is it?
Toilet seats.
Yeah.
You don't have to replace the whole toilet, but
just
the seat where somebody else's ass has been that you don't know for 10, 20, 30 years.
Poop.
Toilet seats are supposedly one of the things that can make it feel like it's yours. Nothing like a seat on a porcelain throne to make it feel like you own the home.
That's a great point.
For me, the longer this stuff has existed, CrossFit, there's going to be less and less ingenuity on as constant of a basis. There's always going to be some, but we can't expect for as many fresh ideas as often as we did back 10 years ago. When everybody was, oh, this new implement, all this strongman stuff. Yeah, I want them to bring some more back. And I do give them a reprieve from last year because they were being extra cautious because of what happened. I think we need to leave a year to breathe and then let's reevaluate after this games this year and see really what changes have taken place and if the things are trending in the right direction. Signups are up in the open. Things seem to be trending in a better direction in a lot of aspects of life. So I think that we need to say last year was going to be kind of a scramble. The venue, the programming, everything was an adjustment. So let's give a little bit of grace and let's take it out for another year before we try to throw everybody into the fire and say everything needs to be burned down. Because I don't think it does. He used to say nothing hardly.
Yeah.
And now he does his weekly things. And if you like him or not, at least you're getting some or more information than we used to.
Yeah.
So just again, you give somebody a little bit, they want more and more and more. So I'm not surprised that people are clamoring for more because once you feed them, I tell people all the time, you feed an alligator, what happens when you run out of food? I mean, he's going to look at you.
Your food.
Yeah, you become the next meal. So
That'll never happen again now. You know that, right?
Right.